Good afternoon. Welcome to Estrategias Militares. We are live right now. May 7, 2026, Donald J. Trump has sent an ultimatum to Iran that they cannot have nuclear weapons, that they have to shut down and destroy Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. And they have to hand over all the uranium before building what you are seeing on screen, the nuclear weapon. Family, your likes, your comments. Let's get started. Good afternoon, family. Welcome to Estrategias Militares. We are live right now. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is already the fifth ultimatum Donald J. Trump has given to Iran, I think. Let's see the result. Now, let's find out what's really going to happen, if anything. Because be careful. Saudi Arabia is jumping ship. The Saudis have made their estimates. They've done their calculations, they've gathered in their tent and said the following. We don't believe that Donald J. Trump is going to end the Iranian regime, even by launching attacks against the regime. It would survive, and we don't want to have a bad relationship with the Iranians after the war. That's why the Saudis have forbidden the United States of America from using their military bases to launch attacks against Iran. That's the reason. That's why Donald J. Trump has canceled Operation Project Freedom, because the Saudis have jumped ship. Donald J. Trump is starting to become unreliable among his strategic partners in the Middle East. And it's not that I have anything personal against him. You know, I don't. It's just that that's what's happening. We've been watching aircraft movements for hours, and none of them are taking off. No tanker is taking off from Saudi Arabia. What's more, it's likely that a large part of the operational fleet for the attack on Iran has departed from Saudi territory. Just last night, we saw AWACS aircraft leaving that area. Electronic warfare aircraft leaving Prince Sultan Air Base. The Saudis are backing out. They say this is as far as they go, and that they don't believe the United States has the capability to defend them in case of an attack from Iran. But that's not the only news. Now, you'll see what Donald J. Trump has asked for, which is unattainable, definitely unattainable. For Iran. And you're going to see it. You're going to see it. Furthermore, a report from the Washington Post concludes that Iran could withstand a naval blockade for between 90 and 120 days, possibly even longer. This report also mentions something even more terrifying. Iran retains much of its missile and drone arsenal, despite attacks from Israel and the United States. They have enough oil reserves and alternative smuggling routes to avoid an immediate economic collapse. All of that is happening right now with a regime that is now much more radical, that continues to execute people, and with the Revolutionary Guard having taken complete control of the country. Politicians no longer matter. Now there is only radicalism in Iran. A mission that doesn't end is an incomplete mission. This is going to lead to a very important decision. Iran. Israel will have to decide whether to attack Iran alone. Disobeying the orders of Donald J. Trump. Thanks. We're heading home until the next round. Welcome to Estrategia Militares. We're live. Thank you all. Super chats are open. You can contact us through Super Chat. You can also contribute via PayPal. And we're going to watch videos and images that will really catch your attention. We also have images from Lebanon. And I recommend that you watch the episode we did last night, very late or very early, from Spain, to see what's happening with the antivirus. Breaking news. Nothing more, nothing less. El caso. First antivirus case in Israel. The case. In addition, the World Health Organization confirms 5 cases, and 3 people are currently being evaluated because they are showing symptoms. And they were on the same plane. Mundial de Salud y en avión the World Health Organization and on a plane. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. So, get ready. Things are about to get intense. Let's go to Lebanon. Elimination of the head of the Ratwam unit from the air. Footage from Israel. There he is. Different munitions falling at the same time on the building and bringing it down. Funeral of the last son of Khalid al-Khaya. He has no children left. All his children have died. This is Gaza. Less and less each time. More and more alone. Iran begins to rebuild the Karm Bridge. Dam. Which connects to Tehran, the capital. The regime's goal is to rebuild a multi-million-dollar bridge. Marco Rubio in the Vatican with Pope Leo. Netanyahu about what happened yesterday.
Hezbollah feels is the same terrorist who to Bussi from his secret terrorist headquarters to carry out the attacks on our forces, on our population, from his secret terrorist headquarters in Beirut. He likely read in the newspaper about his vaccination in Beirut.
The person in charge of the Ratwam unit that we eliminated yesterday in Beirut was responsible for the attacks on the northern kibbutzim and for planning the invasion to attack the citizens of the north. That's what Netanyahu says around here. That's what's being told and commented on. Looks like the war in the north has started again. Since the elimination yesterday, the IDF has been extremely careful and cautious about what might be coming. A pretty big one from Hezbollah. Balut. He says that the leader of the Ratwam unit, Malek Balut, believed he could direct attacks from a hidden headquarters in Beirut. Clearly, he read in the press that he had immunity in Beirut. No terrorist has immunity. Good message from Netanyahu regarding what is happening to him and what he is facing in Lebanon. Tunis. A lot of tunnels. A lot of weapons like these. Stored in civilians' houses. Granadas anti-tank grenades. Rocket-propelled grenades. Wire for detonators. Telephone lines. uniforms, tents. What we're seeing is not a coincidence. They launch rockets. They fire rockets at the IDF and then hide those launchers in civilians' homes. This is the result. 2,000 pounds of explosives falling on the building. We can see it here. A Hezbollah operative tries to hide after the launch and is taken out. Also from the coast, you can see it in the area, in the Nakuora area, how they open fire. And Lebanon is being torn open. We're seeing it right there. But what's really happening with Iran? Images from today. This ship is the Francesca. The Francesca, the one we're seeing here, plus the other one in the background that had a Greek name. Images from the regime meant to show they have total control over the Strait of Hormuz. They film from below. They film from above. What's more? Rizai, the major general, another one wanted for the army attacks, has answered Donald J. Trump's ultimatum, and now we'll see it. But Iran has also taken the liberty. People here surely all have a boat. We have a yacht, and we can sail through the Strait of Hormuz. So when you go sailing, please keep filling out the document so you can cross the Strait of Hormuz. Name of the ship, previous name, IMO, type of ship, cargo, type of cargo, number of containers, if they are containers, amount of special shipment, grosso, size of the vessel, width, maximum weight, flag, former flag, country of origin, port of origin, destination country, destination port, last port, next port, record of who is the owner, who is the operator, who is the commercial operator, the ship owner, who is the manager, the number of crew members, the nationality of the crew, el seguro, type of ship, and all the details can be found. They just need to go aboard and take DNA samples. This is the form that any ship wanting to cross the Strait of Hormuz will have to fill out. All because Iran, now seeing that Saudi Arabia has left Donald Trump stranded, feels strong. The regime feels very, very strong. Thank you. Which could mean, and I say this very seriously, that the reports we're seeing that they still retain a large part of their missile arsenal are true. In fact, I believe it. I have always said, and I have bet that Iran has built a mega missile complex and even factories underground that allow them to keep producing underground. They have a long land border with Pakistan and other countries. They can use the Caspian Sea to send whatever they want from Asia. It's pointless to rack your brain over a blockade that will end up taking years before it produces any real results. In fact, I'm going to show you something that's happening right now in the Persian Gulf. Iran, unable to load the oil, is dumping it into the sea. What you're seeing are oil slicks, oil that's being dumped into the sea, fuel dumped into the sea. Thank you. The inability to load and secure it. Look, the image we're seeing is so stubborn. This is already a problem of environmental and international proportions, where Iran is willing to do whatever it takes. If they have to destroy the Persian Gulf and turn it into an oil bath, they're going to do it. They've made up their minds and they're going to do it. The United Nations is keeping silent for now. They don't want to know anything. They don't want to comment on anything. Nobody knows or is aware of anything, but the images are there. You can see it right there. The island of Kar, there are currently a few oil tankers. They are bringing oil tankers from Al Hudaydah, from Yemen. The Houthis have already sent a few oil tankers so they can load in Iran to try to slow down the bleeding of the Iranian regime. Gracias, and some have succeeded. There are some super tankers that have managed to cross into that area, and Iran appears strong. Thank you. For Iran appears to be in a position of strength. But what did Donald J. Trump say to Iran? First of all, let's take a look at the situation in the skies. The other day, there was this amazing air show where all the planes appeared at once and people went crazy. We all went crazy. 22 tanker planes. Now, none of those tanker planes take off from Saudi Arabia. None. Saudi Arabia stepped aside. This forced Donald J. Trump to cancel Project Liberty. We see that the logistics hub remains in Jordan and Israel. They are the only ones standing firm along with the United Arab Emirates. But why is Saudi Arabia doing it? Saudi Arabia is very angry because Donald J. Trump has supported the United Arab Emirates in their exit from OPEC. The organization that manages global oil production, where they set the number of barrels that can be extracted per day, puts a limit so that the price is favorable for them, and they make money. So that the market doesn't get flooded with oil. That's the business of the Saudis. It has to control the market. And hit it hard. Very hard. All right. Like the other day, the United Arab Emirates was attacked, and Donald J. Trump was not able to launch a retaliatory strike and said that what happened was not important, that it was not a breach of the ceasefire. Saudi Arabia has said, well, if they didn't defend the Emiratis, they're not going to defend us. The Emiratis are no longer involved. They want nothing to do with it. The first casualty it leaves behind, the hesitation of Donald J. Trump, his support from the Saudis is collapsing. Today was leaked that Pezeshkian visited Mojaba. We don't know if it was with a Ouija board, as I always say, with the afterlife, or if Mojaba is really in some kind of Android machine speaking from a computer. They say they've spoken. There's been 2 hours of discussion with Mojaba in an atmosphere of trust and open dialogue. Pezeshkian is asking Mojaba to stop the war. We have to stop. Pezeshkian, who seems to be the only one concerned about the social situation inside Iran, has asked for the war to stop. He has asked. Therefore, the war will not stop. They already told him the war won't stop. But be careful, as there's also been a leak that there's controversy within Israel. Amit Segal, one of the journalists most connected with the IDF, with Trump, and with all of this, is usually the one who breaks the news first. He says there's a big dispute within the IDF and the Mossad about the final objective of the war. The army considers removing uranium from Iran its top priority. Mossad thinks the goal should be regime change. Of course, the thing is, here we're talking about removing the uranium. All right, we remove 400 kilos, 10 tons, 20 tons. Nothing happened. We remove them. And now who guarantees you that Iran won't extract them again, buy them, manipulate them, enrich them? No one. So it's not a complete solution. The regime, as long as it's there, will want to destroy Israel one way or another, or both ways. Russia's dead, obviously. Thank you. It's a problem. Serious problem. What is it that Donald J. Trump is asking of Iran, or what has he asked of Iran? What is the request? Bien. Well, let's see what points are being requested from them. All right. And what is the main framework of this story? First of all, Washington has presented Tehran with a new nuclear framework. Acceptance will trigger 30 days of detailed talks, according to the Wall Street Journal. The red lines of this agreement, within what time? That's what the United States is asking for. Iran must formally declare that it is not pursuing a nuclear weapon. Very romantic. Very nice. They've been saying that for a long time. Completely dismantle Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Impossible. Total ban on underground nuclear activities. Even more impossible. Surprise inspections with automatic sanctions for violations. No way. A 20-year interruption of uranium enrichment, not a permanent one. And in 20 years, will there be anyone alive in 20 years? The transfer of all enriched uranium reserves out of Iran. Where to? To China? To Turkey? To Russia? The gradual reopening of the Strait of Hormuz is linked to the easing of the United States blockade. Sanctions relief granted only based on compliance milestones. What do you think? Will they dismantle Fordo, give up all the uranium, and shut down their underground facilities? Posible. Is this possible? Is this a possible scenario? Posible. It doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like that's going to be the most likely scenario in this story. But also, what does Iran say? Because Iran is already. Iran says that all ships must now get approval from its naval forces to cross the Strait of Hormuz. 1. 2. We are not going to negotiate anything. End of the war. Payment of financial compensation and withdrawal of the United States of America from the Middle East. The Iranian parliament's national security official says that no uranium has left the country. Don't watch it. Live it. Huge. This is huge because it leaves us in a critical situation. Israel must make a move. The situation is at a standstill. The Revolutionary Guard doesn't want to surrender. The time has come. Bibi has to make the decision. The elections are approaching. Donald J. Trump is not willing to launch the final attack. Bahiri looks strong. Pezquia knows it. Lapid and Bennett, they are after Bibi's head. Iran is more radicalized than ever. People are afraid in Iran. Donald J. Trump promised that he was going to liberate Iran. We won't settle for less. Israel has the key. If Israel launches the attack, it will end this. That's where things stand. Trump has said there's no time limit. Some people say they have a couple of days to think about this, that Iran has to respond today. Risai has already responded on this matter. He said there's nothing to negotiate. Everything's come. Things are getting really bad here. Let's get to the super chats. Let's check what people are commenting on the channel. It's normal to have many questions. It's very, very normal. Sending you my regards and take good care of yourself. Isaac Daniel, when they ask you where you are, remember that you are in the hearts of many people and you provide the reliable information people need. Thank you and blessing. Thank you very much, Isaac. Terrorist surrender isn't requested. It's imposed by force. All right. We should look at and understand things from everyone's point of view. The United Arab Emirates have their own interests. Qatar has its own interests. The Saudis have theirs. Saudi Arabia now sees that it is losing control over the oil exporting and producing countries. They know this is going to be a serious problem. And now they see that the United States is not going to take out Iran. By the way, where is POTUS and what is he doing right now? The president of Brazil, Lula, has just arrived at the White House. Lula da Silva is currently being received at the White House. Images. Uno de los más críticos. Who invite him to the White House. Who invite him? One of the leaders of the left-wing axis in the Southern Hemisphere. Realize this. People in the United States are already openly criticizing the attitude of Donald J. Trump. They don't understand it. They don't understand why he doesn't put an end to the regime in Iran. People are already starting to ask tough questions. The Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, Ismail Baghei, is currently reviewing the proposal from the United States of America. It is being reviewed. They want to review it carefully. There's no time. We haven't reached a conclusion or responded to the United States yet. Ferrar Isfahan, Ferrar Fordo, Natal, please. Thank you. They're just buying time. We've already discussed Mohsen Rezai. Iran will reject any US plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz unless it includes war damage compensation. He said that Iran wants tangible benefits, not symbolic concessions. Iran wants money. Iran wants money. They say the CIA leaked a new option. He says that Iran retains much of its arsenal and that they have restored many underground facilities in these past weeks. Supuestamente, if they restore them, it's because they got a truce, which supposedly happened because supposedly the Pakistani guy told Donald J. Trump not to attack Iran. So who makes the decisions? Pakistan, Iran, Trump, or Bibi? How is that? How is that? How is that possible? The Emirates have secretly resumed limited crude oil exports through the Strait of Hormuz, using tankers with tracking systems turned off to avoid attacks from Iran. At least 6 million barrels have been shipped, which Saudi Arabia also dislikes. That the Emiratis can do it, and they can't. The coalition is breaking apart right now. We have photos of Marco Rubio. Trump has sent his top guy to the Vatican to try to put out another fire. The one with the church. Marco is already there with his family, visiting the Holy See. And there he is. Official photo with Pope Leo, the one who likes Iran having nuclear weapons. Said by Donald J. Trump. Seems so. And now what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? Well, things are going to get ugly. In Israel, the stance is clear. People want Iran to be finished. People want it to end. They don't see it as safe. Let them go. There's no better time than now. And now we're going to face a completely different situation. We have to make decisions. We have to make decisions, and quickly too. Very quick decisions that have to be made. You have to know what to do. 75% of Iran's missile capability remains intact. However, on the other hand, the coalition needs to know how many cruise missiles we have left, how many interceptor missiles we have left, and what capabilities we still have. Iran prepared for this war for many years. Since before the year 2000, Iran was already preparing for this moment. Its arsenal is enormous. Simply blocking the entrances to the tunnels doesn't solve the problem. That's right. The problem continues. Nos vemos en el... Let's go to more comments here in the chat on Estrategias Militares. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. A big hug from Puerto Rico. Let's see when you decide to come visit us with your brother. With pleasure. We'll have to go over there. Someday we'll make it over there to Puerto Rico. Let's see what they're talking about for now. Will this be the final ultimatum? Will this be the last word? Will it? Maybe we're also waiting for weapons to arrive by land somehow. That somehow a ground attack will be launched. Somehow. It must happen or should happen soon. Maybe we're waiting for different things or elements that we don't know, but that are there. While it's true that one thing is what's being said in official circles, which is the geopolitical side, the military side is another matter. From a military point of view, look, this is what we've got. Planes keep arriving. Planes keep arriving. Planes keep leaving. Tankers now heading to the United Kingdom. It's strange because this tanker plane that was in Israel is heading north. This one is now returning to the United States. I'm going to tell you something. Just as we see the planes have been coming, we're also going to see them leave. And that wouldn't be a good sign. That doesn't seem to be the case right now. More combat forces are arriving. The Boxer will be here in 2 days. The Boxer Amphibious Combat Group arrives in 2 days. Which means we have to be very alert. Situation with the ships. How are things? Let's take a look. There they are. Naval situation of the ships that still have the IAE system on. We've had the same bottleneck for some time, over 1,000 ships stuck in the Strait of Hormuz, in a rather chaotic situation. Definitely a rather chaotic situation right now. Inside the Strait of Hormuz, look at this image. This was yesterday, day 5. Look at the number of small ships, tankers they've taken to the island of Kara. All the ones you're seeing, they remove them from their ship graveyard. They drag them there so they could take on cargo. Iran is deploying its floating assets to store oil. Here in this small image that has been leaked, we're seeing a lot of ships and likely more nearby. Unfortunately, the full satellite image won't load to show us the reality of what's happening. There's only one solution here. Israel del Paso. I care about my president, but if he keeps making these indecisive moves with Iran and Venezuela, I'm not liking this. There's a protest in Venezuela today at the United States Embassy. Yesterday, the United States claimed Venezuelans are very happy and that things are going wonderfully. Well, it doesn't seem to be that way. It doesn't seem like things are going that wonderfully. And people are finally going out into the streets now to protest and to demand elections. People want to vote. The Chavistas can vote for Delcy, the others can vote for Maria Corina. For whoever runs, they want elections. For now, there won't be any. That's how it is. The situation, if you can call it that. The situation. But anyway, between one thing and another, things keep happening and growing, and they keep happening. Family, thanks for joining us live on Estrategias Militares. We'll see you later. We'll have several live streams today, so stay calm. We'll discuss the antivirus topic later. Things are getting very dangerous. Honestly, it's getting extremely dangerous. There are more cases now. It's starting to spread. That whole very close contact thing. Some people have been on the same plane in different seats and still got infected. See you in the next episode here on Estrategias Militares. Take care.